Hello and welcome back to the Swan Pricing Show. My name is Filip Vucic. I'm a pricing mentor.
And I am Filip Zota, the owner of Growth Marketing Agency Mauja.
Today we're talking about how to know if you achieved the highest price that you could, or more colloquially, if you could have gotten more money. Because everybody, it's really easy to tell if your price was too high. That was not a problem. That's never a problem, right? They tell you right away. But if you could have charged more, nobody tells you that. I'm really happy with this price, but I would have paid you more money. That's not usual. I mean, I've seen it happen to me, but only after they paid me the full amount, right? They took pity on me. But I always say I do what I do because I've done all of the mistakes first.
Exactly.
So, have you had somebody say that? I would have paid you more.
No, which is strange. It wasn't direct, especially in my early stage of entrepreneurship. But people were trying to find other way around to say politely, especially people with whom I was connected. We had a deeper relationship, even build a friendship and everything else. So in some moment they said, "Yeah, Filip, but the message was completely clear."
Cool. So, in general, there's a couple of symptoms that are typical. And I want to talk first about them, and then we can go deeper into that. And you add if I miss something. So first of them is if they respond immediately with a yes, then you probably could have gone higher. So if your price is completely unacceptable to them, they will say no immediately. So there's no point in then holding back the no answer. So if you say your price and they ask some more, or they keep quiet or something like that, they're really you're really close to a yes.
Yep.
Because if it's a no, it's a no. But so if they think they really want this, but they think they could get a better deal out of you, they may keep quiet, right? So, oh, that's a good deal. Let me make him nervous. Maybe he offers to sweeten the pot a little, right? So that's like often case. So if they say yes clearly and univocally within 2 or 3 seconds, that's their subconscious saying, say yes before they add on, but also. So it's $5,000, but also $5,000 next year or something like that. So say yes. So that's one. The other is if they don't really ask much about it, ask much, about any payment options or this or that and the other. What would you say? How do you know if you could have gone higher?
Yeah, as you mentioned, immediate confirmation and a big smile on the face. You can also quite often see, that is my experience, on facial expression. You see how strange that was for a moment for them. This is a deal. This truly is a deal for me. Yeah, as you mentioned, no additional questions, because it's clear for them. It's obvious a value, and the deal is closed. Then you could, and you had a namespace to go price wise even higher. Those are kind of 2 relevant triggers which you can see immediately on the spot, and they are clear. There is no more complex indicator of specific situation.
So a client of mine told me, so I've shown them the offer, and of course the actual money part of the price was on the last page, and so they flip, they come to the last page, they visibly relax, and say, okay. I said, congratulations, you underpriced. And people say, you know, what can I do when I figure that out? Nothing. That's it.
Yeah,
There's no going back, right? There's no going back. It's take whatever you could have charged more, take as a lesson, and do better next time. So
the only option I would kind of add in terms of the value conversation and the sales conversation, the only thing when you understand that you made the wrong positioning in terms of price and the deal closing, if there is a more complex potential scope in the future, you can only emphasize that is for this specific activity scope. Further on, you will be discussing and talking about additional estimates, proposal, etc. But that is, yeah, on the edge. As you said, it is better. Okay, just take it the way it is and go further. Be smarter next time, and that's it.
Exactly. It's, I think the biggest blunder that I ever made here was with the first potential client from Singapore that I ever had. Well, potential client that did not end up as a client, and it was completely my fault, because although I do this professionally, I miscalculated what my price should be for Singapore. So when I said my price, his question was, oh, is this per session? And my face was clearly saying that it's not. And his point, which he didn't have to say out loud, I understood at that moment, and I also understood that there's not going to be a sale here. So his point was, this is a strange price, because at this price per session, that would be a bit pricey, but for the whole thing, it's ridiculously, suspiciously underpriced. If I'm capable of doing what I say I'm capable of doing, then this can't be right? So that's like the best example of a completely wrong-headed pricing approach that I found out in the middle of a pricing negotiation. And yes, I learned something that day, and I'm telling you all that because yeah, pay attention to that kind of a thing, because it still stings sometimes when I remember this. But at least I understood that when you make a completely wrong price, you will get an appropriate reaction. So it's not going to be a secret, right?
Yeah.
So are you willing to admit yours?
I'm trying to remember the specific case. There were for sure quite a bunch of them. It's logical, but at this moment, I probably the number of those type of situation was quite big, so I cannot remember the specific case now.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure there was. Yeah. One situation, that was the web development project. It was kind of larger scope, and I was in the new stage of business. So you're practically happy whatever comes to your table. And you're not experienced enough to understand the scope and place the scope around the project adequately. So I have created the estimate and proposal overly optimistic. I was able to deliver in terms of time, quality, and everything, but I heavily underpriced the service scope. And that was a red flag for them. And that was the reason why we didn't engage and did that project. So yeah, that impacts a potential opportunity heavily if you completely mismatch or give too optimistical point of view, and the price is way below optimal.
Okay, let's tie this into the whole swan pricing, duck pricing theme that we have going here. So if we're talking about expert service providers who are not commoditized, then this conversation is completely different than if you have commoditized services, which for the purposes of this show we call duck pricing. So I think the conversation is completely different because if what you do is a commoditized service, then you're easy to compare, and they only want to know, okay, so I know what you're giving me, I know what the offer is, so how much? Because that's the only difference.
Yeah, primary
right?
criteria.
Banana here, banana there. Yes, they're different, they're both bananas, whatever. So how many grams of banana do I get, and how much per gram is that, whatever. Here it's not, that's not it. So when people say it's easier for me to just send the price over email, they ask how much and I tell them how much. That's bad, because then you don't get to see their reaction, and you can get a yes and be happy about it, and you actually left like 50% money on the table. And this is important. A 40% higher price, which is like the usual result that people get by working with me, is not 40% higher profit, because all of the if you're drawing any profit at all, and usually if you're not in business for long, all of the costs are already covered. So that's a huge amount of profit more, right? So it's very, very hard to just send something in an email and they say, oh well, you're more expensive than the other guy. So yeah, you can't do that here. You really should be able to see their face, or at least hear their voice when you say the price, so that you can know whether they responded with yes within a couple of seconds or within a couple of minutes. Was there uncomfortable silence? All of these things can cost you a lot of money to simply act like you're mowing lawns. How big is your lawn? Okay, then it's this much. Oh well, that guy said that, and the implication being you're basically the same. This is duck pricing. You're basically the same. That guy cost less. Goodbye, right? It's not like if somebody hires your agency or any other agency, they're going to get the exact same thing depending on just how much they pay. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And generally, the suggestion for the audience would definitely be, as you mentioned, when you are in the stage of pricing, conversation, negotiation, in the end, creating some kind of proposal, all people, both live or online, whatever, and see their faces. For example, we have the practice, we are never communicating the scope, project scope, and presenting any kind of proposal if we are not on a meeting. There is no chance that we will be sending a proposal to the prospect. Here is the paper, enjoy, call us back. You need to be out there, not only to see the reaction about the number, but also to handle potential objections and the details and additional questions which are directly and tightly connected with the value. So if they're on the brink of the decision to go with you or not, if they're asking additional questions and you gave them important insight and valuable information, provide the value, they'll be going with you. So you have the power in the negotiation to present all relevant aspects, information, and close the deal immediately on the spot. Other way, you are sending the document as anybody else, and they're comparing bananas to bananas, because in most cases, they don't know anything about the details what are written in the document.
Yeah, exactly. And you could say, I mean, it's different when it's about something technical or physical, right? Okay, so this, this motor is 80 kilos and that one is 40 kilos, so this one must be made out of some more durable material because, right? No, it's so I've seen the same invoice being written in 3 pages and in half a page.
Mhm.
One of my clients is auditor,
Mhm.
and she had her old invoice listed everything that she did, 95% of which the client simply couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And the new invoice simply states the value that they wanted to do, and how the sausage was made. Well, who cares?
Exactly.
It doesn't state the number of hours because that's not relevant. It actually states the number of days simply because they need it within that. So that's part of the value. They need it to be done until then. And if she did half an hour a day or 10 hours a day, they're not really interested in that. And, she was afraid that people would appreciate her work more. People appreciate her work less, right? She was afraid that they would appreciate it less. They appreciate it more because, that's what I paid for, right? I'm completely fine giving you money for this because that's what I asked. And when you add 60 to 70 things which I didn't ask for, which she knows that it's needed in order to for their chosen value to materialize, but they say, then they start the calculation. So why did you do that? How long did it? 2 hours. Why does it take 2 hours to do that? Right? Couldn't I do that, in like half an hour? So you confuse them with additional stuff, and then anyway, right. Are there conditions where this advice does not apply, other than you not being present when the price is presented, which you should? Well, if you have published your prices on the web,
Yep.
or somewhere, if you have a catalog, so if you basically productize your services,
Exactly.
then there's no
That
point in this.
Yeah.
You still get to sometimes you have a discovery call and they didn't see your materials yet, and then you can see this in practice, understanding what kind of a yes did you get, right, and how fast. But then you have to price everything in, so you have to do it correctly. We talked about productized services before. You have to do it correctly so that everything is priced in and you're not sweating bullets because somebody might choose the price that you offered, right? So I always say, you should give the clients some options, because if you don't give them options, we can talk about options some other time. But if you don't choose to give them options, they might go and search for options by themselves, and it's not really going to be the same thing. But whatever option they choose, you should be really chill about them choosing it. So choose this, choose the other. Both are good for me, right? That's how you build proper options. And then you don't have to experience this. But these figures are usually higher than people think they can charge it at the beginning of this kind of a journey. So I don't think it's real. So can you imagine some edge case where this is not a good idea to specify, well, it's not a good idea to judge whether how they respond to your price, to learn something from it, to learn whether you could have had more money or not.
Mm-hmm. In any case, it is good to receive information. What I also wanted to add on to that is that people are very often in negotiation communication giving a namespace an opportunity for the prospect to think about something. The point is that you get results immediately, the answer, no matter it's a yes or no, or I need to think about it. If they need to think about it, okay, then address a specific time frame when this decision will be made. The point is, those who are giving the proposal, presenting the proposal, and they need to be engaged as professionals, experts who will be helping and supporting somebody in a business. They're quite often ready to step back in terms of closing the negotiation and give the opportunity namespace for the prospect to think about. The point is, if you're able to present, think on the spot, that needs to be in the focus, and talking about the numbers, because in the end there is a segment of adequate preparation for the conversation. In the end, you need to make the entire checkup about the scope and everything, especially if you're able to provide some kind of filled form in terms of requirements, etc. Elaborate it on the spot and immediately return the information in terms of the amount. I'm quite often, that is kind of not the joke, but my practice, what is happening, and that depends on how people got used to the negotiation conversation. Generally, I give information about the amount and price people on the spot. Yeah, thank you, Philip, but can you create a proposal? No, I gave you the proposal. Yeah, you are right. so okay, if something needs to be more elaborated, we are here to do that. If you need to think about it, we'll immediately schedule a next call and expand the topic. But things need to be clear for both cases and scenarios, because often what can happen, the prospects are postponing the decision. They need more time, they need this, they need that. And that is also an indicator how serious they actually are. And quite soon you'll understand if they chose you or they are looking for alternative options. Are they in the realm of price buyers and similar? So that you will find out practically on the spot.
One corrective little spot that I like to interject here.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody says I need to think about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I sometimes ask, so what specific information are you waiting for? Because maybe I can provide it. Yeah. Maybe I can provide you a statistic, maybe I can provide an answer, maybe I can help you get to that answer. So I've been here before, you know. Mm-hmm. I've looked at people thinking about this decision before. So sometimes, and maybe like 30% of the cases, they say, you know, yeah, there's actually nothing new that I need. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I can make a decision now. So it's a reflex. Yeah. More often than not, they actually need to check something to do with this. Check their cash flow, check with their spouse. It happens. But in a significant number of cases, just that question will end the conversation then and there. So I like that. Cool. Have we rummaged around this particular topic enough?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the topic.
Cool. Right then, where can people find you, Philip?
People can find me on LinkedIn, also on my agency page, maoyo.agency, and my consulting practice, maoyo.consulting.
Right, for me, it's LinkedIn as well, and fearlesspricing.com. where there's all sorts of extra things, including links to these episodes of ours. Great. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time.
See ya. Bye bye.